Go through a little example here of converting units. This is something that is a compound unit for energy. When we measure things in centimeters, grams, and seconds, so the CGS system, which is sometimes used in astronomy, the unit of energy is an erg. What we're going to use in this class is a different unit of energy called the joule. So if we were given 34.6 ergs and we wanted to know how many joules that is, well, then we need to convert all of our base units for length and mass from CGS to MKS. And notation that I'm going to be using in this class, the unit of measure that goes with a number is always going to be in a square bracket. So then you can differentiate if it's an M in a square bracket, then I mean that to be meters, not an M off by itself, which could be a variable for mass. So let's write down a couple identities, and then we'll get rolling and remind ourselves on how units cancel out. So 1 erg of energy is equal to 1 gram of mass, centimeters squared per second squared, and a joule of energy. So a capital J means I have a mass of a kilogram times a meter squared over a second squared. So converting 34.6 ergs, we have got 34.6 gram centimeters squared per second squared. I can get rid of the gram by multiplying by 1 in the following way. 10 to the 3 grams is 1 kilogram. So that clears out a gram. And then to get rid of the centimeter, convert that into meter. Again, we write 1 in a useful form of 1 meter is 100, or 10 to the 2 centimeter. And we need to square that because what we have here is centimeters squared, not just centimeter. So centimeter squared will cancel with centimeter squared. So to convert from ergs to joules, we need to divide by 10 to the 7th, which is perhaps not obvious unless you write it out. So this will be equal to 3.46 times 10 to the minus 6 joules. All right, and then right off the bat here, I'll point out that I broke one of my own little rules just to make this a little bit more legible to start with. We should not write out a plural of a unit when we're keeping track of units of terms, because S is itself a unit, the unit for time. There is no such thing as metric time. Time is time is time. So we can't differentiate between, for example, saying, is that meters, plural, or is that milliseconds? Written out like that, if I didn't have any other information, I would say that that means milliseconds, because a lowercase m means 10 to the minus 3. So even if we would say this is 34.6 ergs, I should have put just ERG, erg, in my square brackets. So try not to make things plural by adding s in your units, because it is going to cause you problems if you do. And the other thing to remind yourself of and notice is that when you carry out these unit conversions, everything is going to work out okay, and you can check that your answer is correct if I have canceled out all of the terms that I'm wanting to change. I've gone from grams to kilograms and centimeters squared to meters squared. And if we forgot to square this, then working out algebraically what my units are, I would have had kilogram per second squared times centimeter times meter, which is not correct. That is not a joule. So if you are careful and you carry through your units, you will always catch all these mistakes.